Welcome to this short debrief on the contribution of South Tyrol to the project AlpLinkBioEco. I am Michael Riedl, Vice Director of Fraunhofer Italia. Before starting, let me briefly remind to our audience that the very aim of this project is to connect economic players across the alpine space to create new bio-based value chains. Today, I would like to illustrate which valuable biolink we identified among one of the most strategic sectors for our region. To identify and establish unexploited growth opportunities for local enterprises through cross-sectorial and cross-regional connections, we firstly scouted the economy of our region. We wanted to understand which sectors are mostly represented in South Tyrol and what could be their place in circular bio-based value chains. We think that South Tyrol is perfectly suited for circular bio-based value chains, mainly with the role of biomass supplier. In fact, there is a strong presence of primary production like agriculture and wood, and its first transformations industries generating enormous amount of bio-based production waste. Particularly, we identified high potential into the processing of biomass derived from agriculture. In terms of added value and economic importance, fruit production is for sure the leader of all agriculture sectors in South Tyrol. Apples play here an important role. To give you an idea, in 2019, 974,000 tons of apples were grown in South Tyrol, about 150,000 of which were destined to industrial use. By processing this raw material, about 20 to 25% is organic waste in the form of apple pulp, peel and seeds. Accordingly, we can state that there is a high potential for bio-based circular economy starting from this biomass. At this point, having a clear picture of our region, we identified some major economic players. We conducted some piloting sessions to turn the opportunities we identified into actions. In fact, these were the means to connect players and inform one another about the different bio-based value chains. Having stated that South Tyrol yields very big quantities of apple waste, we started looking for materials that can be generated from apple pomace, and we reached out to different companies involved with apple transformation in our territory. Once we identified some major players, we started looking for companies interested in processing apple production waste. Even if they mainly process the grape mark, we believe that their technology could be employed to process different biomass feedstocks, such as apple pomace. Initially, it was thought to consider cellulose extraction from apple pomace to produce viscose cloth. The value chain generator suggested some biolinks. In addition, from a technical point of view, this process is only justified by very profitable niche markets, especially when compared to the use of wood as feedstock. The process adopted by Vigea, starting from grape mark, allowed us to optimize the original idea of our biolink. Considering the processes used by Vigea to produce leather-like coated material, referred to apple pomace, actor A is represented by a company operating in the food and beverage sector. Apple processing generates waste, the so-called apple pomace. That represents the output from actor A's processes. Apple pomace is dried and stored. Then the biomass is purified via physical chemical treatments to obtain the input ready to be used by actor B's processes. Actor B is represented by a company operating in the clothes sector like Vigea. The bio-based material is ground and mixed with a polymer. The polymer is a polyester or polyurethane obtained partly from an oil extracted from seeds in the pomace and partly from fossil resources. This material is like a filler used to finish support material made of recycled cotton and through various treatments gives it the typical appearance of a leather. At the end of the value chain, a biomass-based leather is obtained. An important point to clarify is who takes in charge intermediate processes such as drying, storing and pre-treatments. This is because also in the apple pomace there are seeds, cores and peel, therefore an oily and woody component. The quantity of oil and seeds is comparable to that of grape, but the composition should be investigated. Currently, apple seed oil is on the market for food use and the selling price probably justifies its production. Experiments should be carried out to lower the price of the processes and make them more efficient. In comparison with grape marc, the percentage of seeds in the pomace is lower, and the effects of apple processing methods should be further investigated. Alternatively, apple pomace could be used as a filler, and other solutions to obtain the polymer should be considered. As far as seasonality is concerned, even if there is a seasonality linked to the harvesting of apples, the conservation technology is very advanced and allows a constant flow of apples to be processed by food industry throughout the year. Moreover, the cloth production process starts with dried biomass. Once it is dried, the biomass has no deterioration problems. Of course, it is necessary to act on the logistics of storage and transport to optimize production flows between the food plant and the cloth plant. Economic feasibility depends on the production costs and the market. Production cost estimations can be done only after more investigation on the suitability of the apple pomace for the actual VGR processes. Surely, the business should be driven by an appropriate marketing leverage on the environmental impact of the product. A niche market characterized by high personalization and agreements with important fashion brands are certainly beneficial. Introducing biomass as an input in cloth production gives some advantages. No petrochemical origin, contributing to lowering fossil resources use. Cruelty-free in the case of leather-like cloth, substituting animal origin leather. No VOC, organic compounds, needed in the processes. No competition for additional land use because based on waste material. And high local regional availability of apple pomace. Alternative use of apple pomace concern mainly energy production. The use in textile sector is offshore an upcycling of the waste. In terms of sustainability, and in addition to the economic and technological assessment, it is necessary to test if the overall environmental impact is lower than other alternatives. We are very proud to share with you that we also identified a 100% South Tyrolean bio-based value chain. I am referring to a project initiated by Saleva, which has been working on developing textiles starting from hemp. The idea is inserted into the vision to work on responsible solutions for the future. Less one-way synthetics, more renewable sources and positive CO2 balances. Even if the idea is at an early stage, they want to approach the topic 360 degrees. It is not just an idea of a fiber crop which can grow also in the Alps, but also of a different way to perceive the crop, see how it grows and what potential it has. And to share this with people to make them understand that there is a value chain which makes the difference. The different applications which this crop offers are amazing. Fiber, food, building, bioplastic, health, etc. And several developments have been done along with trials over the last 3 years. In Europe, the company is still facing processing problems since the actual project is too small and economically not strong enough to compete with foreign markets and synthetic fibers. But hemp textiles allow an overall well-feeling, breathability, moisture and temperature regulation, drying time. During activity and after activity, and were tested with very positive feedbacks from athletes. A hemp-based example is the ripstop, realized in a blend of hemp and recycled polyester. The aim is to have also a product in terms of aesthetics and feel which is modern and speaks Saleva. Even if this biolink still requires much work in scientific experiments and business models formulation, we believe that it yields high potential besides being 100% South Tyrolean. To conclude, I would like to state that thanks to the AlpLinkBioEco project, we discovered that there is a very high potential when connecting players across the alpine space. This interconnection really helped when creating bio-based value chains and new valuable business ideas.